What's up, gamers? This is That PlayStation Gamer. Today I am going to talk about Helldivers 2 and what Sony can learn from this game. First thing they can learn is you don't have to spend a shit ton of money on visuals and storytelling to make a compelling game, especially for a multiplayer game. While I like story-driven games, not every game needs to be story-driven. Not every game needs to have this super in-depth lore. It just needs to be fun. I feel like this is something that, a lot of people say, but really, I I don't see a lot of these, games of service games really be a fun game. They put the microtransactions first, then they worry about everything else. But I feel like Helldivers 2 strikes a very good balance of having a quote unquote story, but at the same time, it's still a gameplay focused game. So, Sony, if you're gonna make games of service games, you need to make sure they're fun. Next thing they can learn is, of course, pricing. My God, the fact Helldivers 2 is only $40 is kind of crazy when you think about it. This game's wildly successful, and it was only $40. Yes, the game doesn't look super visually amazing. It's not the best looking thing in the world, but people don't care when they have to, kill bugs and drop bombs on their fucking teammates by accident. I love how this game just is so counter what Sony normally does. And if it wasn't for the fact this was, a Helldivers game, I don't think a lot of people would have even, cared. Or, I don't know, man. Maybe it's the other way around. But Helldivers 2 is a fun game, and it's not even expensive. It's $40. Yeah, that's a good price. Or you can make it free. Yeah, doubt that's going to happen. But you don't need to be charged $70 for games as service games, Sony. That's ridiculous. Also, what's nice is the fact that the microtransactions cap out at 20. I have seen many of these games as service games and multiplayer games come out, and they are just ridiculous on the microtransaction prices. Like, my God, I've seen games that had barely anything worth a damn, charge $100 at most, just to be like, oh, we'll see, but you can get a bunch of cosmetics that you don't really care about and don't do anything for you. And yeah, this game has a battle pass system, but it's also an optional battle pass. You don't actually need it. I'm telling you right now, as a guy who has it, it's also going to take a lot of fucking grinding too. Like, that's the thing that's interesting about how they handle this battle pass. It's like, you technically have two battle passes. Everyone gets the free one. Everyone gets the one that actually has the meaningful upgrades and stuff. But the premium one is like, it's okay. It works. But it's going to take a lot of grinding. And I feel like that's kind of a good balance. Like, if you're going to pay a premium price for a battle pass or microtransactions, there needs to be kind of a grind to it, because that way it keeps people playing the game. Another thing I think Sony can learn, I think this is probably the most important, is just being honest with your customers. How the Arrowhead Studio handled the whole problems going on with the servers was very refreshing. They weren't trying to disguise it. They knew there was problems. They knew that we knew that there was problems, and they weren't disguising. They're like, hey man, we're having problems. Please don't buy the game. Don't all log in at once. And we need to work on some issues. We need to kick people out who aren't super active. We need to, basically, the best way to put it is actually monitor the players and monitor the situation going on with the servers. Raise the cap. And that's what they told us this stuff. They told us what the problems were, what they were going to try to resolve. They weren't trying to be super sneaky about it. They just said, hey, these are the problems. We need to work on them. I don't think there's many games service games out there that try to be transparent like that. And I kind of wish they all were transparent with it. Because at the end of the day, when your customers are paying money to play a game and the game's not working, they feel robbed. And if they feel robbed, they might not turn that game back on. I can tell you guys right now, I deleted the game at first because there were just so many server problems. But because I kept hearing people saying they're updating it, and I did see updates coming up, I was like, okay, this seems like they're actually working on the problem. And, it's nice that you can go back to the microtransactions and pricing. It's not obnoxious with it. It was like, hey, this is a game that's meant to be fun. there's going to be ongoing stuff going on. There's already kind of hints of stuff coming on. And I want to see where this goes. This feels like a game. If there's any game that could be successful, at least within the year it launches, is this game. And this is the kind of feeling Sony needs to invoke. They need to give us the games they make going forward that are games of service need to feel like there's gonna be more content. It cannot be bare bones. Now, that's not saying Helldivers 2 is, perfect or anything. It's got problems, but I feel like those problems are going to be worked out at some point. I feel like we're going to see more, content come up, and that's the important thing for any games service game. You need content to keep flowing. It doesn't have to flow every, month, but every 3 months is kind of nice to get that bit of refresh. Fortnite does this often, and it keeps players coming back. It keeps people, wanting to do it. And it is nice that this game kind of has this, I'm going to say this right now, this is going to sound a little weird. This game kind of has this weird little crossover potential. I could see with something like, let's say, Starship Troopers, or, just, you could name some kind of IP, sci-fi franchise, and it might actually work in here. Hell, I'm going to be honest here, the way some of these robots work, I'm going to say this, I kind of get some Terminator vibes. Anyone else does? So maybe a Terminator crossover at one point? Who knows? But yeah, this is just me thinking out of the box. This is me just being, hopeful that this game lasts us past the year, because that's the most important part they need to learn, recognize, is this game has to last past the year and beyond that. So, what do you guys think Sony should learn from Helldivers 2? Do you think Sony is in a good spot with this game? Do you think Arrowhead has been doing a good job? Or do you think they're both trash and the games of service are cancer and they all need to be wiped from existence? And no games of service game should ever exist, and no game should ever be $60 or $40 or $50 or $30. It just all needs to be retro shit all over again. So until next time, guys, this is that PlayStation Gamer sign out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that YouTube our own BS. I'm going back to play some Helldivers 2, because now since the servers are finally working, I get to jump in and play with a bunch of randos. By the way, don't forget to check me out on Fridays. We do Helldivers Friday, or as I'm calling it, Freedom Friday. Last week, last recording of this, yesterday I did a stream of Cowboy. Had some technical problems to work out, but it was kind of cool. Maybe we can make that a regular thing. Maybe not. Who knows? But as far as, Fridays go, Helldivers Freedom Friday. See you there. Bye.